Not sure if any of this sound will come through, but I'm going to do a test of my first Moto vlogging, short for video blogging, and it's going to be while I ride down to a friend's place for dinner on some highway, as well as a little bit of urban riding. And I've got the GoPro hooked up to a small shotgun mic tucked in underneath the tail light, and then I'm wearing the DJI Mic 2 clipped onto my jacket. It is about 20 degrees outside. Let's give some time for the W800 to warm up. This is my first fuel-injected bike, and I'm not a fan of fuel injection because the computer makes decisions for you, but when it's cold, it runs a little bit jerky. It's not very smooth. You have to wait for it to warm up. Whereas with my old carbureted bikes, put the choke on and it runs a little bit rich, and then you can slowly lean it out until you finally turn the choke off. It's a little bit more predictable. This bike can idle a little bit high. I've already had the Kawasaki dealer make an adjustment to it to bring the idle down a little bit, but that's good enough. For the DJI Mic, I have the 32-bit float audio setting. The low cut is not turned on, and noise cancelling is not turned on. I've already done a couple of test records with the DJI to capture the exhaust sound, and it's awful. Sounds underwater, kind of like you're in the bathroom when somebody's got the water running. I don't see that happening with other people's videos on YouTube, so I think I might have a defective microphone. I might exchange it. If this video turns out, I'll publish it, and if not, well, this will be another example of the poor audio quality. I've used DJI before for work, and it's all right. They definitely focus more on vocals than other sounds. It's construction season, so there's piles of dirt everywhere. Here due to construction. barely have to twist the throttle when I use this bike. Got a lot of power down low. There's lots of criticism about whether or not this bike has enough power, or it's underpowered, or there's too many vibrations. I've had this bike for about 2 years now. Got just over 7,000 kilometers, 7,400 on the dot now. Never had any issues with not enough power. Bigger issues with potholes on the ground. So that was all fourth gear. I'm in fifth gear, doing about 107. Just shy of 4,000 RPMs. Really windy. No idea if you can hear me or not. But is there enough power on this bike? Yes, there's enough power. Is it underpowered? No, it's not underpowered. Does it vibrate? Yes, it does vibrate. Right now I'm in fifth gear doing 110. Vibrates quite a bit. I'll speed up a little bit. Vibrations are still there, but not as noticeable at 120 in fifth gear. If I slow down a bit, at 100, I'm at just over 3,500 RPMs. Does it vibrate? Yes, it does. It's a parallel twin with 360 degree or 0 degree crankshaft, whatever you want to call it. It means you got two pistons moving up and down simultaneously. Don't buy this bike if you expect no vibrations and unlimited power. The main thing I have to say about this bike is my first brand new bike, and the way to describe it is that everything is just light and delicate and buttery smooth. The clutch is very light, the brakes are very light, the throttle is very light, so you can do a long day of riding without experiencing a lot of fatigue. The shifter is very light and delicate. I've had a few other motorcycles, and this is probably tied with my first motorcycle, which was a 1975 Honda CB550. That also had a very light shifter. That bike made about the same amount of horsepower, about 50 horsepower. A lot less torque. It was an inline four. So you had to wind it out to 9,000 RPMs if you wanted to get moving anywhere. This bike, you just barely touch the throttle and you're picking up speed. You don't need to downshift to pass on this bike, but with the old 550, you did. So the seating position, I mean, I'm about average height and average weight for North American, and it's a very comfortable bike for people that are over 6 feet tall. They find it very cramped. The handlebars are very perfect. They're low. It's not a long reach from where you sit to the handlebar, all the controls. Very simple bike. If you've ever driven a Royal Enfield, just imagine a softer, more delicate, and more powerful Royal Enfield. It's a little bit quieter. And made in Japan. And that's why I like this bike, and what I wanted was I enjoy the British standard bikes. But the Royal Enfields are just overpriced for the North American market. I mean, in Canada, they're about, if you wanted a Bullet 500, they were between $7,000 and $8,000. And that's just too much for that bike. And at 27 horsepower, you could make the argument that that bike was slow and underpowered. But complaining that the Kawasaki W800 at 48 horsepower is slow and underpowered is just nonsense. Of course there are faster bikes out there. I mean, people online are crazy. There's this guy on Instagram who made a video complaining that the Honda CB1100, the last air-cooled model, was a slow and underpowered bike. I mean, that thing made like 90 horsepower. Sure, just because it makes less than the older CB1100s doesn't mean it's slow or underpowered, but people will just have to give an opinion for clout or for likes, comments, engagements. It's Sunday evening on the Anthony Henday. There's a fair bit of traffic right now. And later on, we're going to go on to the cement park that's got the grooves, and you get the wobbles on a motorcycle. It's not fun. Anyway, back to this bike. It's got proper spoke rims. That means you need tubes in the tires. The tires aren't some unique or odd combination. Very standard tire sizes that you can. They're fitted with tires that are slightly wider on the rim than they need to be. You can put some narrower tires on the front. What I'd like to do so I can go off-roading with this bike. There are a lot of dirt trails in Alberta. They're a lot nicer to ride on than flat and straight highways here. But it looks the part. My favorite tires are, or favorite types of wheels are spoke wheels. So that checks the box here. It's got a single round headlamp, checks the box there. It's got dual instruments, speedometer and tachometer, so that's what I wanted. It's got mechanical throttle, mechanical clutch, that's what I wanted. It's simple that I can cleanly lubricate. The cable snaps, I can always figure something out on the road. It's got front and rear disc brakes, which is nice. Gives you a little bit better stopping power. The tank is fairly small, holds about 15 liters. The one thing that's a little bit irritating is the fuel light comes on when you've used about 10 out of the 15 liters. And depending on your riding, you can get about 25 kilometers per liter, give or take a little bit. Or urban highways, you'll be getting about 22 to 23 maybe even a bit less. In the city, about 19 to 20 kilometers per liter. But when you're out in the rural highways and you're just cruising at a nice low speed, about 100 kilometers an hour, you can get about 26, 27 kilometers per liter. So when you reach 10 liters, that means you've done 270 kilometers. You still have over 100 kilometers left before you're empty. So you're staring at this fuel light blinking, which is really irritating. I want to see the time and I want to see the odometer because I'm doing my own mental math. A long time ago, a friend asked me, how do you ride a motorcycle without a fuel gauge? And well, I just told her, well, once you figure out, when you flip over to the reserve, you do the math, and every time you fill up, you do the math, and you get to know your bike. And then if you reset your trip meter every time you ride, then you kind of know how much fuel you've used. It's not hard. And if anything, I prefer it because it's one less thing to look at, less clutter on my instrument gauges. I hate when something's flashing at you. Riding a motorcycle is meant to be peaceful. Let's see, done about 202 kilometers, so this is fuel left over from last year and mixed city highways. I should be hitting the 10 liter mark soon. So it's got a few modern touches. I had a Moto Guzzi once for a brief while, but a short while, and it had temperature gauge on the instrument cluster. That was kind of neat sometimes, but I'm not too crazy about technology on a motorcycle. I'll take it or leave it. Less is better. Smashing their brakes on because it's time to merge and nobody knows how to merge properly. Back to the bike again. So we talked about the tank. Suspension is very unremarkable. Can't complain. It's soft, it's plush. Is it sporty? No, not at all. The seat was quite stiff for the first year. The first 2,000-3,000 kilometers. It actually was quite uncomfortable. It's not a nice flat seat like you get on the Triumph or on the Moto Guzzi or the Royal Enfield. You kind of sit on the incline or on the sort of the raised bump. And I've had passengers on the back tell me that it's not the most comfortable of the bikes that I've had. I gotta say that Moto Guzzi V7 was one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat on. And the suspension on that, it had the aftermarket bi-tubo, I think it's called, and those were great. I traded that Moto Guzzi in for this, actually. Despite all the good things about Moto Guzzi, it just wasn't the right bike for me. I didn't like the gear ratios, the 6-speed. Found the transmission very clunky. Throttle and clutch were very jerky. And as soon as I drove this Kawasaki, it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. Very smooth, light, gentle, very easy to handle. I can put both my feet flat on the ground. It's a quiet bike. The engine is gear-driven camshafts, and it's a different sound. I'm not used to that. Never had that before. It's not as smooth as an inline 4, but still a smooth bike. You feel the vibrations, but it's not rough. I don't know how to describe it to people. I've been on a poorly tuned Kawasaki Ninja 500, and that was just rough. The mirrors on this bike are essentially useless. They vibrate a lot and they're a little too short. They don't extend enough past your elbow, so you can't really see much. The headlamp is a new LED type, and it's kind of nice. So the color is a bit obnoxious. Don't like the white lights. Transport Canada is actually doing a survey right now about how obnoxious and irritating LED lights are on automotive headlamps. So thank you. Go on the Transport Canada website and fill out that survey. Bring back the warm glow of the old incandescent bulbs. Beautiful day to mow your lawn. I'm just putting around here, second gear, below 30. It's smooth. I give it a little bit of gas. It's not jerky, it doesn't hesitate, doesn't take off on you. So the Moto Guzzi used to do is very hesitant at low speeds. And I've got a nice upright seating position. It's just a very comfortable bike. I'm thinking about getting the luggage rack so I can put some heavier weight on it and go back to doing some motorcycle camping, but I wish there was an easier option to put saddlebags on this and the luggage rack. You can only put one, not both. But I can do over 300 kilometers to a tank. It's light, it's comfortable. It's not a loud bike, stock exhaust, so you can do long distance riding. It's just effortless to ride this bike. disc over there. And the main thing is that the bike is just gorgeous to look at. It gets a lot of attention when you go out in public. Here I am, going to back it up at low speeds. It's very easy to move. And park. Anyway, that's it. See if any of the audio turned out. But thank you for joining me on my first moto vlog. Hopefully I have not influenced anybody to buy this bike. The whole point of this is to de-influence people, so enjoy the ride.